The mission of the Holland Museum is preserving our past, imagining our future. We do this by collecting historical documents and objects that tell the story of Holland's past. Through these stories, we learn about the courage, determination, and lives of people that came before us. This look at humanity allows us the chance to look at and learn about ourselves. Knowing who we were and who we are is a key to imagining our future.
I think we're on.
We're on. Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ricky Levine. I am the Executive Director of the Holland Museum, and I'm here with Nathan Box, Mayor of Holland. And full disclosure, Nathan was a college employee of the wooden shoe factory during tulip time between 1986 and 1989.
I still have all 4 pairs of wooden shoes I got those years.
So thank you everyone for joining us, for attending this episode of Preserving Our Stories, the Wooden History of the Holland Bowl Mill. By attending, you've become a valuable supporter of the Holland Museum, and we are so grateful. We do have a full house, so please keep yourselves on mute during the program. You can also keep your video off so it's not distracting. The purpose of this fundraiser is to raise money for the museum and our education initiatives. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our very special sponsors for this episode of Preserving Our Stories. Our legacy sponsor, Holland Bowl Mill. Curiosity sponsors, Cherry Republic, Denoyer Chevrolet, Gentex Corporation, and Nilis Dutch Village. Heritage sponsors, A.D. Boss, Scott and Natalie Bernecker, Dykster Funeral Home, Skur Printing and Mailing, Stevens Advertising, Trendway, and Valorous Circle. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors.
Tonight, we're going to be hearing more about the museum, its impact, and its educational outreach and focus. And throughout the evening, you're going to be seeing on your screen a QR code. It's one of those funny looking rectangles, squares that are there. We're going to explain more about the outreach programs a little bit later. But if you want to get a head start and donate to that very important initiative and do it early, just put your camera of your phone up over that image, and that will help the museum's work in that area. Of course, the main event tonight is the viewing of the wonderful conversation with the Gier family, the owners of the Holland Bowl Mill. Immediately following the video, I'm going to have a live question and answer period with 2 members of the Gier family. Dave Gier, who I actually worked with and for back in the late 1980s, and his son Corey, who wasn't even born yet. That's how long ago it was. We want you to feel free to drop your questions into the chat box, and I'll try to get as many of those asked and answered as we possibly can during the Q&A time. Now, because you're participating tonight, you'll be the first to receive the link to the full unedited version of the interviews with the family. It's 3 hours long. There's an incredible amount of material there. We also have a gift bag for you tonight. I don't even know what's in here yet. Ricky's decided that she wants to make sure that this is a surprise. So Ricky, as I open up each item in the gift bag, you get to tell me what each one of these things is.
I'm happy to do that. So if you were one of the first 100 tickets for this program, your gift that you receive includes a beautiful handcrafted 9-inch Michigan cherry bowl, handmade from the Holland Bowl Mill.
Beautiful, love it. Do I get to keep this one?
You get to keep that one.
I like this one.
Yeah.
All right.
In addition, you also received a bag of Cherry Republic Ambassador Nuts mix. Enjoy tart dried cherries, dried cranberries, green pistachios, and huge macadamia nuts in a beautiful, one-of-a-kind bowl.
Excellent. I think we can have this tonight while we're watching the video.
Yeah. The gift value of this is $50. And in addition, You also get a discount coupon from the Holland Bowl Mill. So you can go to their wonderful store and purchase additional items. So.
Fantastic. Now that we've got our snacks, we can sit back, relax, and enjoy the history of the wooden bowl mill. Now remember, immediately following the video, I'll be back with a question and answer session with Dave and Corey Gier. And remember, if you have questions that you want me to ask, make sure that you drop them in the chat and I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. Let's enjoy the video.
Thanks to the generosity of many individuals and companies, the Père Marquette Caboose, located in downtown Holland, has seen significant restoration efforts completed in recent months. But there is still much to be done. Visit the Holland Museum website to find out more about this project. With your help, we can complete the restoration and preserve this story for generations to come.
I am a donor, member, and volunteer with the Holland Museum because not only does the museum allow us to see our community's progress through history, it also makes itself relevant today through programs on current events that impact our community.
Education is really, really important to me, and telling stories about people that are untold and sort of providing a voice to those, the voiceless, is really important.
During the time that I have been involved in the museum the last 5 or 6 years, I have found this to be a great organization that deserves as much support as possible.
I support and sponsor the Holland Museum because I believe in preserving our history and our community stories. We have such a rich history and we are unique. We have dealt with adversity and we think big.
Preserving our past, imagining our future. Standing here in the Spark Lab at the Holland Museum, exploring the process of invention. The Holland Museum and Holland Public Schools have many shared values. Lifelong learning, elevating the voices of our community, the ability to foster a sense of community, a time to celebrate stories, preserve our unique history together, and inspire the future. These elements and more come to life here at the Holland Museum. The funds raised this evening will go to support a number of events and activities that are provided to us, whether it's visiting the galleries and different exhibits, to the Capon House, the Settlers House, and other activities that are sponsored throughout the year. We appreciate your generosity and consideration.
My name is Dave Gier, and if I was a type of wood, I would be honey locust.
My name is Janice, and I will do walnut.
I am Krista Chalafor, and I would be cherry.
Yes, you would. I'm Mike Bailey, and I'd be hard maple.
And I'm also Mike Bailey, and I would be beech, because that is the wood that I worked with more often than not in my years at the bowl mill.
My name is Corey Gier, and if I was a wood, I would be spalted maple.
Whoa!
Because it is so unique and
You just took your sisters.
an incredible wood type.
And my name is Katrina, and I also would be spalted maple.
Good choice.
I think it is just unique and beautiful and really one of a kind.
Hello, my name is Graham, and if I was a wood, I would be beech because I can't think of any other wood.
Like wood.
My grandpa started the wooden shoe factory. His dad immigrated from the Netherlands and had a cigar shop on 8th Street way back in the early 1900s. And Grandpa Chet started the Dutch Novelty shops on 4th and River, and they actually they made Dutch souvenirs, and then they got a wooden shoe carver in the window on 4th Street. Grandpa wanted a second wooden shoe factory, and they built a wooden shoe factory on M21. My uncle managed that. They worked there. They worked hard, but they did it honestly and fairly. My dad spent 25 years in a VA hospital from World War II. My mom was the go-to person for my sister and I. We lived, just the three of us for many, many years. And she was fabulous. She was the type, she'd be driving down the street and she had a can picker-upper thing where you could extend it out the car door, and she'd see a pop can on the side of the road. She'd be going, work. But everybody remembers that. Pull over, reach out, grab it, bag in the back seat. Away she'd go.
As Dutch as you get.
There's no way, as Dutch as you get, she was going to give up that 10 cents. My sister and I, my cousins, we'd all ride in the parade of tulip time. And she'd say, okay, now the bus groups are going to come. They're going to take your picture by this windmill. So smile and be nice. And she gave us all a wooden shoe bank. And she'd say, she put a couple coins in it. She'd say, when these people come up, shake your bank a little bit because you're going to make some money. And I said, oh, okay. So we all stood there. People would take our pictures. We all rattle our banks. They'd fill up fast. So she'd empty them out, put us back out there again. So I don't know whatever happened to all that money. And I'll never forget it, in 1956, my mom and my sister and I were at our house on Cherry Street in Holland. The phone rang and my uncle said, sis, the wooden shoe's on fire, it's burning down. Christmas Eve, and the wooden shoe burned down. We drove over there and watched it burn. Luckily, the wooden shoe machines at that factory were saved, and then they rebuilt in 1962 on US 31 and 16th Street. My uncle had heard of the Holland Bowl Mill and contacted Victor and Charles and wanted to sell the wooden bowls in the wooden shoe factory. They put a deal together, and then it actually put a whole separate room in the wooden shoe called the bowl room. And the whole room was full of wooden bowls, utensils. We'd engraved windmills and tulips, different things in the bowls, and all that stuff. People loved it. We ended up buying the bowl mill in '87 because the two brothers, Victor and Foley, wanted to retire. And Mike was instrumental, Big Mike, instrumental in training and learning how, building the machine. We put up a building behind the wooden shoe factory, moved the bowl mill from Muskegon, and put the old lathes there and everything. And
my mother worked at the wooden shoe factory, so when I was 13 or 14 years old, come here to work. And you were there and grew into the company. We grew and just kind of kept going.
I learned a lot all the way through high school, college. So I went to Northwood, and at that college, there was 1,000 guys there and 100 girls in that college. And a good friend of mine said, there was a party coming up. She said, I want you to meet somebody. I'm going to introduce you to Janice Donnelly. I said, oh, okay. So that's how I met Jan, and we hit it off pretty good. I had to work at it a little bit, but so we did, and then we dated all through college, got engaged, and were married in 1973. And we just have had a fabulous relationship for all those years. And I became good friends with Mike, and he married Jan's sister, Sharon, so we were very close together as families, his 4 kids, our 5 kids. And so we all grew up together, did stuff together constantly other than work.
It's just been a big family thing. I mean, yeah, at that time we weren't family, but We became family.
When I started running the wooden shoe factory, I mean, I worked for months on end without a day off. Tried to do too much myself. We hired all our tulip time help. Most of it came through Hope College. And we'd hire 50 or 60 students. We had clothing racks full of Dutch costumes. They'd try on the Dutch costume, and they take that with them, and then they come work. And we had the Frater fraternity do the parking, and they come in, give them all walkie-talkies. We'd park buses. We have 100 buses on Saturdays. In the store, we had crowd control. We had people regulating. 20 people would go out, 20 people could come in. They're lined up outside, 4 deep, all the way past the tap room from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. So many people, and rainy days were not good. We put in 2 huge tents outside. We had Dutch dancing, and it was just a huge, huge draw for folks. They all wanted to come to Wooden Shoe because we offered so much for free. The whole Wooden Shoe Factory tour was 25 cents.
But I have such this beautiful layout of exactly how the Wooden Shoe Factory was. I mean, I can just close my eyes and envision walking through the front door, walking through the back.
And then you had the engraving, then you had the toys, right?
Oh man, Celeste, all those people.
The china to
I
the
would say all
left.
the china
And then you have the cookies,
the cookies
and the fudge.
and candy.
Doing the samples.
Right.
I also remember tasting all of the black licorice.
Oh, disgusting.
Because it was all Dutch black
It was
licorice.
horrible.
And we had to know the saltiest to more the mild.
I remember that.
And so
Definitely.
yeah, and so then they would ask
The
us about
saltiest. I remember
the black
that.
licorice. All of the years of street scrubbing, going to the Wooden Shoe Factory during tulip time, we all had our costumes
Right.
on. We all got the pictures. We all had our own wooden shoes.
Yep.
You know, Mom carrying both you and Kara on, you know, her hip, matching costumes, and you
Oh, it
know,
was a
same with
perfect.
your
It was
family
perfect.
and
Just the
time.
best childhood ever.
Yeah, it was my first job, and I worked there for years upon years. And I remember working hours and hours and hours, and then adding up all that money, and then looking at home like how many new shirts I could get because I was, in high school or whatever. Being the oldest, I think I really was able to really have the emotional sort of connection to being able to kind of have that feeling among Mom and Dad and the high stress times and the low stress times when work really was stressful when you own your own business and really trying to gauge those emotions. And I really remember thinking different times in my life thinking I never want to own my own business.
Yeah.
Wow, what a lot of burden you carry when things aren't great. And then, even when you celebrate your successes, it comes with how do you continue that success?
It is. You're worrying about every employee's
Right.
family.
It's being in a family business, it's nonstop busy. You're working unbelievable hours. We had, in the heyday, we would have over 300 buses in 1 week. And thousands of other people in cars and lines, and we had 80 employees. And the Saturday of that May of '99, Harry drove over from the Dutch Village on Saturday, the busiest day of tulip time, and we had 6 people in the Wooden Shoe Factory on Saturday of tulip time. And Harry said, "We have none." I said, "What is going on with the tourists?" It just was, the economy had slowed down in those couple of years, and I think the tourism industry in general changed. It wasn't just the Wooden Shoe Factory, it was all of Holland, and everybody was just way slow.
I remember when the Wooden Shoe Factory closed and how
Oh,
devastated I was.
heartbreaking.
Oh my gosh.
I remember finding out and feeling how that devastation.
It was
So
horrible.
emotionally, he was so attached to everything that he did that coming out and being, expressing that it was time to close the Wooden Shoe Factory was really difficult for him.
For me, it was awful. I mean, it was, we had Channel 8 doing interviews because, 1926 to 1999, and I'm third generation closing the original wooden shoe factory. But it was just, we couldn't keep going anymore.
It was sad to see it just go downhill over the years. So I think we probably made the right decision as far as, getting out of the retail tourist industry and then concentrating on the bowl mill.
That transition was tear-filled, but I do remember something my dad had said, and I remember thinking, okay, yeah, like this transition into the bowl mill was his thing.
But in order for us to expand and grow that, we needed new machinery, new equipment. We were working with lathes that dated back to the early 1900s.
The way they made the bowls the old way was quite physical. I mean, there was a lot of heavy lifting, and you had to push the cutting knife into that spinning block of wood using your hip. So I probably after 10 years of working there, I had to have my hip replaced. Just that constant vibration wore my hip out.
We put our heads together and developed and designed new machinery, new equipment. And it took a couple of years. That lathe, one of a kind, and it's instrumental in how the company
Most amazing machine that was ever built.
No one like it anywhere.
It's still working 22 years later. We haven't made any changes to it to speak of. You didn't get your body beat up so bad like you did with the old machinery.
What goes into making a wooden bowl? People don't understand that.
Right.
It's not mass. It's not CNC. It's from tree to final product. There's a lot that goes into making each bowl, and that's a really cool thing about it.
A wooden bowl can be, become a heirloom piece. It can be passed down from generation to generation, whether it's for, to serve for a family dinner, or it could be for a wedding or an anniversary. There's always just a special meaning behind our bowls.
I think the craftsmanship, too, that goes into the making of bowls, the uniqueness of every bowl, never two bowls alike. Everyone is different.
They just hold up so well, and they're just always beautiful, the wood. And
there's such a unique look to it.
You
know immediately.
You know if it's a Holland Bowl Mill.
You know immediately.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I've been doing it since I was 14 years old. Been working for the company that long. Just took a break from it for a little bit and then fell back into it, and it turned out to be just an amazing thing.
I would say in the back of my mind, I always thought I would end up at the bowl mill, but through high school, college, I looked at some different avenues and just kind of never found my place and knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I struggled with that for a lot of years. Yes. And then I just started working at the bowl mill more in the sanding room and finishing, kind of learning the company, got a lot closer, with my dad, working with them every day. And then as that relationship grew, I saw there was so much potential with the company to kind of take it to a different level with the e-commerce platform and getting back to more of the retail and tourism aspect. And as I kind of started taking a more prominent role within the company, I started to fall in love with it. And then at that point, I knew this is where I want to be and what I want to do.
I never really envisioned myself working for our family. I knew the bowl mill was growing growing very fast. And so Corey had given me a call and was letting me know, we want to hire someone else to help, help him in the office. So everything just kind of fell into place at that point.
The cutting blades, which, I used to hand forge all the cutting blades. Dave and I are both old school. So to get these younger guys in here doing like Corey is doing with the E-Trade and the websites, and then my son Michael, these guys that are setting up CNC machines, and to see the progress that has been made from what Dave and I wouldn't even consider doing because of our age and our educations with that, to see these younger guys come in and start working on that, that's pretty cool.
I think about my son Graham and how conscious he is about the environment.
I think I ate a bagel on a wooden bowl today.
Yeah.
Yeah?
We use ours
Nice.
all of the time.
And that's such a good point too. I think that's helped with the growth of the company, is exactly what you're saying. So many people are so
environmentally friendly.
Yeah, and that's what they love about us. I think we've done a really good job of finding ways to utilize all of our wood and become a zero waste company, which my dad always wanted to do, and he did such a good job at it with the shaving. All the shavings go to for horse bedding. Excess wood that we can't make the bowl, into bowls gets made into cutting charcuterie boards. Now we do tons of different utensils. We do trees. We do candlesticks. We do a little of everything. So many of our new products aren't always ideas by myself or my dad or Krista. They're employees coming to me saying, hey, this bowl has a crack. We could turn this into a Michigan-shaped bowl. We could turn this into a heart-shaped bowl, which is a lot of fun and very satisfying for our employees, knowing that we're putting the trust into them to come up with these different products.
They transition them from one spot to the next, till they're all can handle everything on the floor. And so everybody can do pretty much anything is what our goal is.
Kind of always been like a family
atmosphere
type thing. I mean, you're my brother-in-law, and we worked together for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And bring my kids in, and it's all kind of just one big happy family. With
it really
your
is.
mom.
It's amazing.
Knowing now that our product is carried in all 50 states, about 350 stores. Now our e-commerce platform has grown so much, we ship to Australia, Dubai, and thinking about, or like the holiday season, the thousands of people or opening up gifts from the Bowl Mill on Christmas morning. It's just kind of mind-blowing to think about that, but it's so cool. It's pretty incredible.
It's just amazing.
So much of what has happened with the company is because of you and the values you installed in me with how to train employees, how to treat employees, what type of atmosphere to build. To have those things be successful, you need to have a good foundation.
Yeah.
And you definitely have been instrumental in your, my grandfather, great-grandfather, building that foundation. Yeah. And that's what I want to continue to do. If this gets to the next generation, that's key for a family-owned company, in my opinion, to survive through generations, is having that foundation.
And I agree so much. That's why they succeed, of that exact attitude and relationship, and that's how they grow and keep going. I mean, I'm 72. I don't have a problem going to work. I mean, I enjoy it. The wooden shoe factory, the Holland Bowl Mill. I mean, it's one of a kind anywhere. You can't. Holland Bowl Mill. What's a Holland Bowl Mill? What's a bowl mill? You try to explain it. There's not another place like it. And so I'm proud of that fact that we have one of a kind business that my family, we own.
Is there a downside to working with family?
No. No, I mean, we had,
Not anymore.
You have your ups and downs.
We've
and-
had
but it's,
all of
but
us
no,
have had
I
our ups
love
and downs.
working with family. I always have.
This is
Yeah, I mean, I do it all over again in the blink of an eye.
We are so grateful to all of our sponsors who supported this episode of Preserving Our Stories. The Wooden History of the Holland Bowl Mill. Legacy sponsor, Holland Bowl Mill. Curiosity sponsors, Cherry Republic, Denoyer Chevrolet, Gentex Corporation, and Neelis Dutch Village. Heritage sponsors, A.D. Boss, Scott and Natalie Bernecker, Dykstra Funeral Home, Skur Printing and Mailing, Stevens Advertising, Trendway, and Valorous Circle. Thank you. Thank you for being here for this very special program of Preserving Our Stories. I hope you are enjoying learning about this wonderful family and the history of their business. As an attendee tonight, you will get access to the full, unedited video of this family story, first, before the general public. Your ticket purchase provides critical funding for the museum's education initiatives. This includes exhibitions, tours, programs, all which provide an enrichment for our community. The Holland Museum is a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1937. We are not owned or operated by any government or institution. We are funded by admissions, gift shop sales, and by you as members, donors, sponsors, and grantors. Your participation in this program will help keep the museum's education operation going. Thank you.
We believe that a museum is a very important part of our community, and certainly the Holland Museum is that. We appreciate the fact that this museum not only has documented the past, but continues to work hard to document the changes that are occurring in our community all the time.
Your financial gift will provide an opportunity to preserve stories. They will put it to good use. Their staff is highly dedicated. They'll make sure that it is put where it needs to be, where it deserves to be.
Your gift tonight helps support the museum's initiatives for education that are vital to this community and also vital to the museum.
Now I would like to ask for your help for museum education outreach as well. Money raised this evening, tonight, will provide transportation and access to the museum for under-resourced families and schools. So $50 will provide museum membership to a family who cannot afford an annual pass and give them access to changing exhibits, Spark Lab, and programs. $100 will provide a classroom session with a museum professional who will bring Spark Lab activities or other educational programs directly to them in the school. $175 will provide a bus, transportation, driver, and admission for a class to visit the Holland Museum or our historic homes for most area schools.
Supporting the museum this evening is very important.
Please donate to the Holland Museum now.
If you could donate tonight, we really need your support. Thank you.
Donations are easy to put off. We'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it next week. What we need you to do is to do it now.
With your help, we can make an impact on classrooms and families who do not otherwise have the resources to learn about our past or imagine our future. Use the QR code on the screen to make your donation now, or after the program, go to hollandmuseum.org. With your help, we can make an even bigger impact on the lives of area youth and their families. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Welcome back. As Ricky said earlier, I worked at the wooden shoe factory during the weeks of tulip time from 1986 to 1989 when I was a Hope College student. And while watching that video, so many familiar scenes and so many memories came flooding back to me. I can still almost smell what it was like at the Bowl Mill and the wooden shoe factory. Now, before we start our interview with Dave and Corey Gier, I want to thank all of you again for supporting the Holland Museum by taking part in tonight's program. And remember, it's really easy to provide additional support to the museum's outreach education programs simply by pointing your cell phone camera at the QR code on the screen. We rely on your support to provide great programs like this one and others throughout the community. Now, I want to welcome our two very special guests, Dave Gier and his son, Corey Gier. Dave is third generation with the Holland Bowl Mill and Corey's fourth generation. Dave, Corey, welcome. It's really good to see you guys again.
It's not letting me do the video.
Oh, I think we've almost got you here.
The host needs to give me.
It's not gonna- Oh, there.
There you are. There you are. Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to start right off with a question that's kind of a transition between wooden shoe factory and the Bowl Mill. What, if anything, has changed regarding the business culture, the mission, the values from the wooden shoe factory to the current Bowl Mill?
Well, Nate, I think I can answer that. At the wooden shoe factory, we had so many seasonal employees where we would go May through September, lots of college students. And once you hit, October through the winter months, just a handful of full-time employees. Whereas the Bowl Mill, we have, as of right now, we have 24 full-time employees, working, 12 months a year, full-time year-round. It's that part of it's so different.
The foundation has carried over from the shoe to the Bowl Mill, kind of how we treat employees and kind of run the daily operation. So I think that's why we've been so successful, is because that has carried over so smoothly.
And I'm guessing there's some similarity between the original shoemaking process that I saw so frequently in the bowl making process. Just a multi-part question here. First, where do you get the wood? Where are the trees grown? And then can you kind of walk us through the process from the woods to the final finished product?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So the trees are sourced from local tree services. So say at your house in Mayor Box, a storm came through, knocked down a few cherry trees. There's a good chance you would call a local tree service. There's a good chance we work with that tree service, and those trees would end up at the Bowl Mill. We would purchase them. And then we work with larger mills who are, doing larger clearings where we're getting 40 to 50 logs at a time. Kind of like the photo we saw in the video of the big truck coming in with all those logs. We're zero waste, so we start with 8 to 14 foot trees. Not one part of that tree ends up in a landfill. If it can't be made into a bowl, it's made into cutting boards, candle holders, utensils, all of our secondary products. Through the mill, there's actually a conveyor system that all the shavings run through, and we donate that to local horse farms. And anything that we can't utilize is sold for firewood. People who drove by the Bowl Mill, they might see a cart of wood out by the road. We sell that for $5. It's the best deal in town. You can't beat it. So that's kind of a quick overview of the process. One cool thing is, though, anyone watching who wants to see that process live, stop in. We do free tours from 9 to 12 and 12:30 to 3, Monday through Friday. No appointment needed. You'll come into the showroom. We were featured on a show called How It's Made on the Discovery and Science Channel. We'll show that short video. Then from there, we'll take you out into the mill. You get to watch the whole process. It's pretty cool.
You guys have a special name for what's left over that people use for firewood, don't you? Do I remember that back from the 1980s? What do you call those, the end pieces that come off of there?
Well, the outside, the skulls.
Yeah, that's what I was remembering. I was remembering the big piles of skulls out in the back.
And those are sold for planters now, which is very popular. And then also Yonkers Gardens locally carries them too.
Very cool. Hey, what's the most popular product that you guys have at the Bowl Mill? Has it always been the same? Has it changed over the years? And have you guys saved some of the original stuff that you made? Any of those early bowls or early utensils?
I can take the first part, and then Dave, you can take the second part. So by far the most popular would be cherry wood. It just has very intricate grain patterns, tends to resonate with our customer base. The 15-inch size is our #1 seller. That's perfect for, weddings, great entertaining bowls, serves 6 to 8 side salads. And Dave, do we have any old bowls from the Wooden Shoe
We have
Factory?
a few. Yeah, we do have a few on display. Not a lot, but the process has remained the same, over 100 years. So, we updated the equipment, automated it more, and we can make, making 800 to 1,000 bowls a week. But, bowls are still made pretty much the same way.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to cheat a little bit. I've got one from 1992 that came out of the original mill. I think Big Mike made it, and we got it as a wedding gift. You guys also do wood burning and customization to the bowls and the other materials too, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So right in our showroom, someone comes in, they pick out a product. We do free engraving on the underside of the bowl at no extra cost. Only takes a minute or two, or similar to your bowl where we can do more intricate engraving on the inside, from a wedding invitation to an image. We have 3 or 4 engravers right on our team who are incredible and can get that done for you.
That's fantastic. Hey, where do you get your employees? There are, you just mentioned, wood burners out there. I don't think that there's probably a big stable of wood burners out there on, jobseeker.com. How do you find people? Do you have to train them with these special skills? What goes into getting that workforce that you guys have?
Yeah, we obviously you can't hire a bowl maker. There are none to hire. You train them. We try to pre-qualify them if they have some woodworking experience, that type of thing. And if they have a good background, then we train them into the different, in the mill room or sanding room. Our wood engravers are gals that work in the finish area and just have that special talent. And we work with them and they go from there.
A lot of it's word of mouth and just we've been very blessed since we are a unique company. We do get some, people coming in wanting to work for us, which has been pretty cool too, over the years.
Well, when I worked at the Wooden Shoe Factory, I got a new pair of wooden shoes every year that I worked there. And after 30 plus years, I finally worn through the 4th pair of them. So I'm curious, do you guys still make wooden shoes?
We do not. Nope. Valdiers, De Klamp, and you can get them at the Dutch Village as well.
Okay. And one of the folks watching asked us on the chat, do you still make the old wooden piggy banks?
I didn't catch that.
Do we still make the old wooden piggy banks?
No, we do not. No.
All right. Well, I got a couple of other questions for you. Corey, you grew up in the business. What growing up in it gave you some insight into how it works? Were there any surprises when you took over and started running the business?
Yeah, great question. I would say the biggest surprise, or just I kind of knew about it a little bit from my dad, just how much goes into running a business, the daily grind, making sure you're taking care of your employees, but also balancing, work, family, and trying to get and figure that out. Yeah, I would say those are the main things.
Any surprises?
Yeah, I mean, there's a surprise every single day, honestly. I mean, things come up. You just got to be on your toes at all times from, customers, employees, but I can't think of a certain thing.
Okay. In the video conversation, you said it's incredibly busy at Christmas time. I know that Dave was used to things being incredibly busy at tulip time. How does your life change around the holiday season? What does Christmas look at the Gier household? How do you manage that ebb and flow of business throughout the year?
Yeah, that can be, it gets a little crazy. So from Black Friday, that's kind of when it starts. We do a big promotion Black Friday through Cyber Monday on our website, 15% off the whole site. So over that one weekend, we'll typically get 700 to 1,000 orders directly off our website. And 75% of those have custom engraving. So there's a lot that goes into that. So it's really, I mean, it's just getting prepared for that time period, based on inventory. We have all of our employees are typically working, at least 50-hour weeks. Myself, Dave, Krista, we're putting in long hours just to make sure that all the orders arrive by Christmas time. That's probably the most stressful thing is we're shipping to, Michigan, but we're also shipping to California. So all the different zones. So you got to time that and make sure, hey, if it's going to California, it has to ship by this date to ensure Christmas delivery, which can be very stressful. But at the end of it, it's pretty incredible to think, hey, we just sent off 1,200 to 1,500, gifts, and people are opening these up on Christmas Day. So that's a pretty incredible feeling.
Oh, definitely. So a couple years ago, I was in Maine and I saw them on display. I saw your bowls on display at a store in Maine. Is there any place where folks can get them locally? There's local retailers?
Yeah, definitely. So we've been working with Cherry Republic for a long time. Dave, you could kind of go into the story of how we connected
We
with
date
them.
way back, even at behind the wooden shoe factory where we started with the Bowl Mill. Bob from Cherry Republic, the owner of Cherry Republic, would drive down in his pickup truck from Glen Arbor and pick up a truckload of wooden bowls to bring back to his store in Glen Arbor. So we've been dealing with those guys for well over 25 years. And as they've grown, we've grown with them. We supply all their stores and with not only wooden bowls, but utensils, cutting boards, Michigan boards, lots of things. It's been a great relationship. And then Season Home in downtown Holland has carried our bowls for a long time. Dutch Village, Windmill Island, and we have even the store right across from your office, Nathan, on South Shore Drive in Myrtle, Central Park Market carries them.
Yep, they do. They do. Hey, ever get an unusually sized order? More than you're used to, because it sounds like people are picking up truckloads full of them. Anything that's been really out of the ordinary?
Well, we were pretty blessed this year to get the Hayworth corporate order, which was incredible. So we did 3,000 of the 9-inch cherry bowls for Hayworth. So that was a little stressful, especially since that was during the holiday season. So we had to juggle getting that order ready and then also all the online stuff. But then we work with some larger retailers, Room and Board, who's based out of Minneapolis. We work with Creighton, Hudson and Grace, which is a parent company of Crate and Barrel. So some larger big box stores, but kind of our niche market is those specialty kitchen stores. So some are the Seasoned Home, Cherry Republic, or that store you would have been in Maine. That's kind of our bread and butter and where we like to be.
On the other end of the spectrum, any famous people that may have purchased bowls that we'd know about?
We did a few cool stories. Yeah, we did in 2017 through or 2016 through one of our sales reps out of California. We did bowls for the presidents, Donald Trump, President Barack Obama, the Clinton family, and the Bush family, which was amazing. I mean, one of the coolest. When I saw that order come through, I just couldn't believe it. We engraved each one with the President Obama, and then I think like Christmas 2016. That was, pretty amazing. And then Dave, back at the shoe, you guys did some different.
Well, yeah, we did
things.
Lots of special wooden shoes. We had a pair from display, Red Skelton, Rocky Marciano, Johnny Weissmuller, the original Tarzan. I remember Dorothy Lamour and Fred Astaire, all people that visited the wooden shoe and ended up with wooden shoes and autographing wooden shoes for us.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Johnny Weissmuller to do his Tarzan call, but he wouldn't do it.
So you just mentioned the wooden shoe again, and talked about some of the challenges of closing the shoe. What are the biggest challenges that you guys have faced over the years, both either with the wooden shoe or with the bowl mill?
The bowl mill, the economy in 2008.
Yeah, the economy, COVID obviously, and that type of thing. you know, the seasonal part of it at the wooden shoe factory was always hard. Then we had those few years when it really kind of not crashed, but went down. That was tough. And the bowl mills, you know, for us is year round, and it takes some of the pressure off, because as you know, we're the only bowl making facility almost anywhere, and by far the largest. And so we can expand and add new products and so forth. So that takes a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely fantastic to see that transition was made from, you know, making wooden shoes to making wooden bowls and expanding that market. And as we were doing this, I was commenting to some of the folks, you know, I only worked with Dave 2 weeks out of the year for four years, 35 years ago, and maintained a friendship and a great relationship all these years. I think, Dave, that says a whole lot about the culture of the wooden shoe. That says a whole lot about you as a boss and a business leader in the area. I just want to congratulate you guys on a great history and even a greater future moving forward. And we really appreciate you guys sharing the story of the bowl mill and the wooden shoe factory with the Holland Museum. Thank you guys both.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks for the kind words. We
It's-
appreciate it.
We really appreciate that.
It's been an amazing process, and
Yeah, it's great.
We've enjoyed it so
We
much.
love supporting the Holland area, definitely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it. And once again, we want to thank all of the folks for participating tonight and supporting the Holland Museum through tonight's program. Remember, it's still really easy for you to take your cell phone, unless you got a flip phone like Dave Gier has. You can take your cell phone and point the camera up at the QR code, and that will help us support our educational outreach programs here at the Holland Museum. I want to thank you again, Dave. Thank you, Corey, and thank everyone in the Gier family for making tonight such a special evening. And a special thanks to all of you as well for joining us on another episode of the Holland Museum's Preserving Our Stories. Good night.
And thank you, Nathan Box.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you all.